Every great economy is built on the quiet strength of its factories, on the steady rhythm of machines, workers, and ideas coming together. For India, under the Modi government, that rhythm is no longer a promise on paper. It is becoming a lived reality across industrial corridors, MSME clusters, and modern factory floors that now stretch from Pune to Chennai, from Dhar to Noida. Over the past few years, manufacturing has moved from the margins to the center of India's growth story. The numbers tell one part of the story, but the deeper change lies in confidence. In December 2025, industrial activity gathered pace as the index of industrial production climbed to a historic high of 7.8%, driven decisively by manufacturing growth of 8.1%. This rise was not an isolated data point. It reflected stronger demand, rising capacity utilization, and industries preparing for scale rather than survival. That momentum carried seamlessly into 2026. As the calendar turned, India's manufacturing engine did not slow. It steadied and strengthened. In January 2026, the HSBC India Manufacturing PMI rose to 55.4, up from 55 inches December, firmly signaling expansion and reflecting sustained strength in operating conditions. New orders remained robust. Domestic demand continued to anchor growth, and production lines ran faster as firms responded to fuller order books. This industrial acceleration was visible not just in factories, but in the energy powering them. Electricity generation under the IIP framework grew by 6.3% in early 2026, highlighting rising industrial intensity and higher capacity utilization across sectors. Together, these indicators confirm that India's manufacturing growth is no longer episodic but structural. As a result, manufacturing has emerged as a key driver of India's macroeconomic performance. The sector is a major contributor to India's projected FY26 GDP growth of 7.4%, reinforcing its role as a central pillar of the growth model rather than a peripheral support. What was once described as potential is now translating into output, exports, and employment at scale. Export performance adds further weight to this shift. In pharmaceuticals, India completed a decisive turnaround, moving from a 1,930 crore trade deficit in FY22 to a 2,280 crore surplus by FY25, with total exports surpassing $30 billion, driven by stronger domestic manufacturing and higher value formulations. Electronics continued to lead from the front. Smartphone exports crossed 1 lakh crore within just the first 5 months of FY 2025-26, registering a 55% year-on-year growth, firmly positioning India as a critical node in global electronics supply chains. Behind this sustained performance lies a decade of deliberate policy direction. Under the Modi government, manufacturing has been treated as a strategic national priority, not a byproduct of growth. The production-linked incentive framework reshaped industrial behavior by rewarding scale, efficiency, and output, encouraging companies to invest deeper, build ecosystems, and compete globally. From electronics and pharmaceuticals to automobiles, white goods, and emerging technologies, the shift from assembly to scale has been intentional and measurable. This approach was reinforced decisively in the Union Budget 2026-27, which placed manufacturing at the center of India's next growth phase. The budget emphasized scaling up manufacturing across 7 strategic and frontier sectors, with the total PLI outlay pegged at approximately 15,541 crore. A strong signal of intent came through the doubling of the automobile and auto components PLI allocation to 5,940 crore, underlining the government's commitment to strengthening India's position in global automotive value chains. High technology manufacturing received focused attention. Electronics, semiconductors, and white goods were identified as priority sectors, reflecting India's ambition to deepen value addition and reduce import dependence. The India Semiconductor Mission 2 was announced to expand capabilities beyond fabrication, covering equipment and materials manufacturing, full-stack Indian IP design, and resilient supply chains. Complementing this push, the electronics components manufacturing scheme outlay was enhanced to 40,000 crore, reinforcing India's drive toward technological self-reliance. This policy stability has translated into global confidence. Over the last 11 years, total FDI inflows touched over $748 billion, a 143% increase over the previous decade. In FY 2024-25 alone, India attracted $81 billion in FDI, with manufacturing FDI rising 18% year-on-year to $19 billion. Global investors are not just coming to India, they're committing to long-term manufacturing capacity. Crucially, employment outcomes underline the impact of this transformation. Over the past decade, India has added nearly 17 crore jobs, with manufacturing playing an increasingly important role. Workforce participation improved steadily, with the worker population ratio rising to 52.2%, female participation climbing to 32%, and women's labor force participation reaching 33.7%. Industrial growth is translating into broad-based, inclusive employment. As of February 2026, India's manufacturing story is now defined by confidence, continuity, and scale. What began as reform has matured into results, and what emerged as momentum is now hardening into leadership. This is only the beginning. India's factories will hum louder at home and extend their reach far beyond its borders, shaping global production networks and firmly anchoring India as a manufacturing hub of the world.